All right, let's get started. All right, remember, nothing in the show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. This is a live show. The views on the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of myself, Dex, or anyone else on the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. It is absolutely imperative that you go over to marfooglenews.com and sign up for push notifications, but also sign up for email alerts. There's good reason to believe that there is another movie coming out. It's called The Purge, only it's starring all of us. All right. What is going on, guys? My name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Want to remind you can follow along all of the stories tonight, including mysterious lights over Hawaii. All of these are going to be available on our website. You can actually find a very easily navigatable website here, marfooglenews.com. You will look for this thumbnail, and once you see that, you will click it, and not only do we take the time to load all of the topics, all of the sources, all of the articles, of course, so you can access them and read them throughout, make sure you know where they're coming from, but we also list all of the callers. If they have a YouTube channel, if they have information, if they have a homemade video, we will be putting that information down at the bottom. If you want to support us, it is more important than ever right now. We are basically climbing a gigantic hill. You can do that on the right side. There's our Amazon link. In fact, if you click this link, anything you'll buy after you click that, if you are just doing your normal shopping, it will help the channel. And then, of course, PayPal takes the least, and then all of our affiliates are over there as well. We are trying to expand and grow, but that's incredibly hard right now. In fact, we've lost 200 subscribers, which actually aren't people leaving, in my opinion, and gained 200 every day. Isn't that so funny? Stayed at exactly about 20 from 137, even though we're gaining hundreds of subscribers a day. In fact, I can see we just gained 3, 4, 5, 8. But that's okay. They'll just turn it off for something, I guess. Strangers in the night, UFO drones, or government surveillance. We'll go over that here in a second. You'll have access on marfooglenews.com. Dex, my co-host, needs to be introduced, though, even though all of you guys know Dex, the wonderful and amazing internet brother of mine. Dex, what are you doing?
Hello, Adam. I am here, and I am screening calls. That's what I'm doing. How about you?
So can you just tell them how to get a hold of you on the number there, and what they should push when they get there?
You know, it's real simple. You just dial 224400MARF or 2244006273, and when you press option 4, you'll get me if you're lucky. There's always a lot of callers. It's always a challenge to get in, but we love it when you do make it through. And if you got stuff to share, make sure you let me know about it so we can put it on the air.
Videos, homemade videos, videos of the sky. Recently, there was some pretty crazy stuff that happened over Hawaii. I actually still have family members and friends that live in Hawaii. My sister actually moved recently off of Maui, and they saw plenty of crazy stuff, including in 2018, I believe it was, they had the false missile alert, which was absolutely nuts. That, of course, changed people's lives, or at least according to them. Jim Carrey even wrote a book after that false missile alert, basically saying he thought he had 15 minutes or 30 minutes to live, and it changed him from the inside out. Of course, that was the sentiment from a lot of people, because if you think about that moment in time, they thought it was real. They got a text message, and it wasn't like, oh, it's just a prank. You see 40 people around you get the same one. It says a presidential alert or whatever it was, and saying there's a missile coming your way. That would definitely be pretty serious. It ended up saying that they pushed the wrong button, and then later on they go, oh, well, there's no actual physical button. It's a drop-down menu that then gives you a warning, and then that warning gives you then another warning, and then that's a drop-down that then gives you another warning. And then they go, oh, no, after official investigation, he did think it was real. He got a message from somebody else, thought it was real, all this. So there's been some pretty crazy stuff over Hawaii, and people that have lived there, and I've talked to several, they say they do see a lot of weird stuff in the sky. I mean, lights and all sorts of things all the time. But it's rarer that they actually get video of it. Now, the video and the pictures are now a few weeks old. Actually, it happened in October where there was these formations in the sky over Hawaii. But now there's some even weirder stuff going on. And I'll show you on my Twitter. Again, I'll show you this first, but then we'll go into it. Strangers in the night, UFOs, drones, or government surveillance. It says out of Eden Prairie, Minnesota, a couple miles from Flying Cloud Airport in a quiet neighborhood in Eden Prairie, man saw a light in the sky last May. The curiosity became an obsession. It says, I noticed something that I had never seen before, which is an object that appeared to be levitating or at near the airport. It says the man said that the objects often flew along the same flight path as planes flying in or out of the Flying Cloud Airport, but always after 11 p.m. when it's closed. It says, fearing ridicule, the man asked Fox 9 investigators not to reveal his identity, which is actually pretty common back in the day. If you said you saw aliens, you were, nutso. Now the government has actually come out and said not only do they have task force against this stuff, they have it instructed every single naval member to actually report it immediately, and they will not face any consequences. They won't be told that they're crazy. They will actually say, hey, report this no matter what it is. That was about a year ago or a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that they told the Navy this, and everybody's like, what? Because, of course, all of us were like, okay, well, they're telling them that because that UFO could very well be one of our opposing countries. It could be a Russian aircraft or a Chinese aircraft. So that is why most people said that's the normal reasoning behind it. Lots of weird things have happened since then. Of course, the video from years ago was then clarified that was indeed a UFO, which doesn't mean it's an alien. It means it's an unidentified flying object. But not only that, it was a tic-tac, that tic-tac maneuver it did defied physics. So obviously something weird was going on there. Says he didn't want his identity then, of course, put out there, but it says since the first encounter, there have been dozens of repeat performances, bright objects in the western sky at around 500 feet, moving slowly and silently across the horizon at estimated 15 miles per hour. The man said that the objects often flew along the same flight path, and it says he's made more than 80 videos recordings with his iPhone, sometimes seeing as many as 6 objects together. When he asked airport officials about it, they told him nothing was showing up on radar. My guess would be either they're testing some secret drones as far as of course they question, is this government surveillance, UFOs, this or that, or the government is actually leasing this airport for some sort of experimental drones, single man drones. I know that they're testing a lot of those. Or after 11 it turns into an alien Mos Eisley. I don't know. But again, what do you guys think? I'll head over to the chat and see what you think. We're going to go into the Hawaii stories. On top of that, if you are from Hawaii, mahalo, and make sure you have your cameras ready. A lot of you guys have seen a lot of weird stuff, and now they're having a strange meeting. In fact, a lot of politicians and others are going into this meeting. Now, people, when they saw this, they were more mad that these leaders and these officials and council members were getting flown to Hawaii, over 100 of them, and staying in a fancy hotel to basically discuss all of these events going on around us, how states are closing down and all of this. And people are like, so wait, you guys are going to physically go to Hawaii and meet and all that? And both sides are actually, complaining, like, what are you doing? You guys get to go stay in paradise and talk about how, we're going to be closing down. Well, I thought it was weird that all of this stuff has been going down the last month in Hawaii, and yet they are going there to talk about something. Not only that, they have Mauna Kea, the famous telescope there. I'm trying to think of, I think it's Mauna Kea. Dex, if you could look up the name of the famous telescope on Mauna Kea, I think that's the area. But I'm trying to think of it, and it's at the tip of my tongue. It has actually been the one that has discovered many things. In fact, I want to say...
Yeah, I think you're right. Mauna Kea Observatory.
I want to say Oumuamua was partly discovered by that, but I may be wrong. You guys can correct me in the chat. If I ever make a mistake, call me out on it. If I ever lead you wrong in any way, we'll make a public correction. Again, that's something that we've offered for 3 years, and we've very, very lightly had to do because we prepare for our shows. But if I do make a mistake, make sure to call me out on it, and I will make sure to try to fix it. Mysterious light brightens the sky over Hampton Roads. It says a strange light display caught the attention of many people across Hampton Roads on Friday afternoon. Several people reached out to 13 News Now asking about a strange lighted object that lit up the clouds and slowly moved across the sky as the sun set around 5:30 p.m. We reached out to both NASA Wallops Flight Facility and NAS Oceana, and we haven't heard back from Oceana, but a spokesman from Wallops confirmed that the object didn't come from them. So one thing in common with the other thing is that they're not finding these objects on radar. They're not finding them in other places. Again, over the last month and a half, we've seen a lot of these instances where these objects are. I saw my own version of them, which I got with my good camera and my telephoto lens, just about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was a spinning object, but it was not a drone. It was much bigger than a drone, much smaller than a plane. It was about the size of what I would think a one-manned singular kind of drone taxi would be. That was in Washington, of course. It says, however, it is possible that this was a rocket launch, but from much further away. At 5:32 p.m. Friday, right around the same time, people from across Hampton Roads saw the mysterious lights. An Atlas V rocket launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida. We're waiting to hear back, but it's possible that the object was seen over the skies of Virginia actually originated from Florida. So did you see this item? Of course, that is something that a lot of folks were talking about on Twitter mostly. And then, of course, Reddit opened up its own subreddit. Very weird. Now, this is the main part of this, because we've actually talked to several people in Hawaii already about this, and a lot of folks saw this. It says, scientists say strange lights over Hawaii were likely a rocket from nearly 12 years ago. It's almost like they throw a dart at the wall for the explanations. They're like, oh yeah, rocket from 12 years ago. Okay. Scientists in Hawaii say bright lights seen over Honolulu on Saturday night were likely the remnants of a rocket booster from nearly 12 years ago, according to Kehon. Kehon 2 also was, the actual channel number 2 in Hawaii, was also the same one. One of my first videos talking about the false missile alert was the same channel that was interviewing, or at least this is what hundreds of people said, interviewing people from this tour boat that said that they saw a big blast at 8 a.m. on the morning of the false missile alert out in the water, and then it cuts directly to a commercial. The guy was mid-sentence. They just had a commercial, go in 3 minutes, him talking, go right into another commercial as he started talking, and then they never went back to it. Never mentioned it again. Weird. All the locals, when I said that this was what happened, all the locals on the island were under that video. Everybody confirmed it. All of the locals in Hawaii said, I was watching it and it cut out. I was watching it. Dr. Michael Sala actually did something on my video because I was asking. I said, hey, did any of you guys see this? This is what happened. And boom, we got response after response after response. Yeah, the people were talking about something going off in the water, and then it just cut to commercial. They even said specifically what commercial it was. I want to say it was a KFC commercial or something like that. Crazy stuff. But it seems like it's not the end of crazy stuff here. It says several people on different islands reported that they saw these lights in the sky shortly after 10 p.m. Saturday. I started videotaping, and when they got closer, I started freaking out because I'm like, oh, what in the world is this? Said Malakai resident Kawip Kanawaliwali. What a beautiful name. Oh, that's so cool. Kawip Kanawaliwali. Man, we should have looked at Hawaiian names for our kids. Such cool names. Says, quote, we actually didn't even know what to think. We didn't know what it was. Where we come from, said Sherry English, who also lives on Malakai, says it just appeared, and it was actually very eerie feeling. Now, what's even weirder is all of the videos and what has been shown to me has been that this had a formation. So how does a rocket booster from 12 years ago get into formation. And some say that the brightest part of it was not caught on tape, that there's a few different angles, but they didn't catch the very first part because nobody was quick enough to do it. It was in a triangle and then a square formation. So how do you go from triangle to square and then to what ended up being this weird lopsided thing? It says, so in all likelihood, what they saw last night was the re-entry of a rocket booster that was from a rocket that was launched in 2008. A Chinese rocket that was boosting up a communication satellite for Venezuela. Chinese rocket for Venezuela. That alone even adds some more weirdness to it. Just saying. What do you guys think? Going over to the chat, Kuapo is sweetheart in English, TW Whistler says. That's awesome. Alaskan Faith says, spirit already roaming. Whom do you think is the actual anti-Christ? Kushner fits characteristics in the Bible. Let's see here. Wish they had videotaped it. So they actually did. We might be able to show that later. Haven't watched the news yet, says Lori Tailman. Johnny Doom, we've got BG of the Truth. Sandwiches here, Liango. Evening, fine Foogle folks, says Space Monkey Florida. Let's see, Jammer 1 is in here. Thank you for modding over on DLive. And then we've got Jessa Figmanselson. Yabba Dabba, ha ha ha. Transported Farm, thank you. Sup, Foogle fam. Johnny Doom says, best show on Earth. We actually are now broadcasting on Mars. Yes, Elon Musk said it was a must. So I guess, yeah, it's a little bit delayed. And it sometimes repeats itself. It's a little bit delayed, and sometimes it repeats itself. And sometimes the transitions get mixed up. If you guys want to support the show and protect yourself, I believe that there are going to be some big changes in a lot of the things that we're going to see in the news. We actually were able to call a couple months early, thanks to some of the folks that we've worked with before. Again, if you want to protect yourself against an EMP, it would definitely be a smart time to do so. You can go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. This is the same company that has not only now been contracted with different companies, different agencies like DHS, DOD, but now with the DEMSO team officially helping protect the Texas grid. You can actually have this kind of protection for your own home, your own car, or your own solar system by going to marfooglenews.com/EMP. Highly recommend, if you don't go through us, go through somebody else, go through a different creator if you want to get the same savings. But I would highly recommend doing this. This, I firmly believe, should be something that if you move, the power company should charge you or help you get at a discounted price if you don't have the money for it, and have this on every single home in the United States, Australia, Europe, any of the allies. This is technology that should already exist. If you think about it, our grid is at such a risk. They have government task forces doing reports for the president on a monthly basis. So pretty crazy stuff. Again, marfooglenews.com/EMP. Go check it out. That helps out the channel and it helps protect you. Alex G. Rex Orbis says close ties between China and Venezuela. Even the rigged is collaborated on by both. The e-voting system. Yes, so much to say there. But I'm going to bite my tongue for now. In fact, I've got so much to tell you guys. You guys need to get over to this. Just to remind you, again, go to the email alerts. marfooglenews.com. Sign up for these alerts. It is more important than ever. Ever. All right. Let's see here. Joseph Newhouse, thank you, says that pink light is good, yo. Oh, well, thank you. It's actually something that's been pointed down at the floor for the longest time. It was mounted underneath my table, and I was like, nobody can even see it. But now that we have a different angle, it definitely does its job. Marky Sparky, the only news I use is Marfoogle News. Thank you, Marky Sparky. Alaskan Faith, thank you for your support as well. And then OG, thank you for subscribing. Now, the three-letter Cat advises Americans not to travel for Thanksgiving. We, of course, covered this last night, and it says that the actual Cat issued new guidance on Thursday advising Americans not to travel for this holiday, saying, warning, doing so may increase the chance of getting and spreading the virus. It says the U.S. has seen over 1 million new cases in just the past week, and indoor household gatherings nationwide could make the situation even worse. Quote, one of our concerns is people over the holiday season get together and they may actually be bringing infection with them to the small gathering and not even know it. Cough on the turkey, and then all of a sudden, you've got yourself a sick household. Then we have Governor Newsom orders a curfew for most California counties amid the spike. So a curfew, of course, what you have seen on Twitter and all over the place is, why does the time matter? In fact, I was just talking with my mother-in-law about how, say there's this horrible thing. I could understand the bars because, if people are drunk, they're doing stupid stuff. But if it's not involving a bar, what does that do? I guess a lot of people are asking that question. And even a couple reporters asked that question. What does that actually do? So the curfew, which the state is calling a limited stay-at-home order, will be in effect from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. So what happens if you don't abide by this, though? That's the big question. It says, due to the rise, California is issuing a limited stay-at-home order. Non-essential work and gatherings must stop from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. in counties in the purple tier. This will take effect at 10 p.m. on Saturday and remain for 1 month. So very similar to what our state is doing for 4 weeks, or at least that's what they said when they were grilled about it. Together, we can flatten the curve again, is what Newsom said. Now, Dex, was it Newsom or was it somebody else that actually was photographed or something at a meeting?
Oh, no, it was him. It was Newsom. He was at a dinner party. He had to come out and apologize for it. 12 people. It was a birthday party for another politician.
Ouch. Yeah. Well, yeah. Moving on to more ASMR on MFN. Major CV outbreak hits crew of U.S. Navy warship. There has been a major CV outbreak among the U.S. Navy guided missile destroyer, the USS Michael Murphy, which has spread to nearly 1/4 of the ship's 300-strong crew, according to the 2 U.S. Navy officials. It says the ship has been in port in Hawaii. Hawaii pops up again. So there's been limited operational impact due to the outbreak. It says one official said that the majority of the sailors who have contracted the virus experience no symptoms, and many are expected to return to the ship in the coming days. It says a spokesman for the U.S. Navy confirmed that, quote, personnel assigned to the USS Michael Murphy did test positive for... and it says, but did not provide the number of sailors that actually got it, citing Defense Department policy. Personnel who have got it have been placed in isolation. Out of an abundance of caution, all close contacts and non-essential crew members are undergoing a 2-week self-isolation period in accordance with the cat prevention guidelines. So, obviously, lots of stuff going on over there in Hawaii. I'm going to go over back to the chat. Thank you guys for all being here and being patient with us through this rough time. I just want to take a moment of silence and remember the people that I used to have next to me. They're still alive. They're just, I think, over on Rumble or somewhere else. hopefully we'll have that figured out soon. Whitney 0109, I'm having a funeral for my turkey, LOL. Love y'all. Yeah, so a lot of people have been talking about that. Of course, Twitter has been on fire saying everybody's going to have a funeral for their hamster, or they're going to supposedly have a funeral for their hamster, because you can, the limit for a funeral is 30, whereas there's no, in some places you can't have any kind of gathering for anything. I think, though, that wouldn't work legally, because I think you have to have proof of a death certificate from a human, but that's what I hear, at least. But I'm sure people are going to do that anyways. Says, I'm doing No Shave November. Do you have a recommendation for hair or stash product? LOL, crazy chain. Zippy Moons? No, I don't. But I think you should do the Gap, what I used to do. Claire Berry, a.k.a. CFS69, says, praying for the Republic. Love to you all. By the way, how are you guys doing? It's nice to see you, BG the Truth. I don't think I've seen you here for a while. So Truth wins. Paul Asis, let's do a roll call. Where are you guys all from? What state? What country are you from? I know that we've got Australians and Europeans here today. Where are you guys from? Do a quick shout out from where are you from? I want to get to know you guys. We're gonna be launching something soon that's gonna be very awesome. So I look forward to using it to get to know a lot more of you guys. Johnson, thank you for gifting a sub to Grandma Sassy Pants. And Grandma Sassy Pants, thank you for having such an awesome name. Joe Schmo. Let's see here. Deb Pool. I love it. Deb Pool. That's awesome. Unicorn Forest. Morning Flower. Release the Quackin'. Always cracks me up. Cole Cracker. Andrea22 is here tonight. Shastina, the wonderful, the amazing. Mrs. Cummings. High Velocity. Planet Anna. Love that name too. Geisy. Cactus Patch Girl. That's great. Greatest is Love. Don't hate the Nate. All sorts of folks over there. And then over on YouTube, we've got Good Evening from a Ted Turner. Pam Walters, and then, of course, Marijuana Community. What is going on? Pascal Stockley. Escape the Matrix. Kimberly Bogus. Hey, so one thing, you guys. Everett Washington says, that's awesome. Lori, you're local. Let's see here. We've got Northwestern Massachusetts, ASCP. Joe Dirt. You know where I'm from, Minnesota. Good evening. What's going on? David Paulham. Cincinnati, Ohio. Shout out, Ohio. Sea Star Goddess. What is going on? Montana Rocks, says Kistelit. See here, New Mexico for Tourist Street. Daytona Beach, make pizza great again. Swampinator. Let's see here. Bella Starcia, Alabama. We've got Texas. We've got Tennessee. We've got all sorts. Duval. Shout out to Duval. Florida, Chicago. Praying for you. Where's Jem Jem? Jim's got. We got to have. Let's see here. Stookster. Brendan Bailey. Oahu. See, I knew we had some Hawaii folks. Texas in the house representing. Love it. Michigan, West Virginia. Lots of folks from the Midwest. Houston, Cedro Woolley. You guys get a lot of flooding. Blaine, Washington, what is going on? Lots of locals. Very awesome to see. Birmingham. I see a lot of Iowa, Ohio, Alabama, Indiana. Lots of Washington folks. Maybe it's because people see somebody local and they just instantly kind of connect. I don't know. So, lots and lots of craziness here. The Navy wants to stand up a new fleet aimed at deterring China in the Indian Ocean. So more and more every single day, we've got more stuff coming out. It says the call for a new fleet comes as the Navy takes part in a major exercise with India, Japan, and Australia, all with an eye toward challenging China. The one thing that I've said before, too, is what if they do predict that China is going to supersede us in everything? And I know that that's hard for a lot of people to even say, but never underestimate your enemy. Again, just 2 years ago, they didn't have the largest military or the largest navy. Now they have the largest navy by 70 ships. That means they were secretly building tons and tons of ships under the guise of even covering up their ports. They were covering everything. From satellite, we couldn't spot it. But they had these gigantic ports that they were making it under, even to the point where they were putting fake grass on top of these building ports. What does that say to you? What does it say to you that they were building so fast, that they are desperately looking for pilots for their Air Force, pulling them straight out of any kind of flight school, saying, hey, we'll give you extra money if you just become straight into a Navy pilot? I think they were even pulling them from their kind of DMV type thing, like the driver's license. Hey, you can drive, you can fly a plane. Secretary of the Navy Kenneth Brathwaite says that he is looking to establish a new naval command with a particular focus on the Indian Ocean and adjacent areas of the Pacific. This announcement comes as elements of the U.S. and Indian navies, as well as those from Japan and Australia, are taking part in a major maritime exercise in the Indian Ocean. The U.S. military as a whole has also been working to strengthen ties with its Indian counterparts, which, for whatever reason, we've heard India a ton recently, U.S. and India. Not so much U.S. and Europe. Isn't that funny? We hear more about U.S. and Taiwan and U.S. and India more than we do with U.S. and Europe, as well as other countries in this general region, in order to challenge China's growing geopolitical ambitions. One thing that I would put is, what if they wanted to take them out? So a lot of people think that they may, invade. This is, of course, an opinion that people have, that they're waiting for the day that China invades. What if it was the other way around? What if something happened that we ended up trying to take them out before they became number one? It's pretty obvious that China wants to become number one. Do you think they'll ever do it? Most people say no. Most people kind of laugh it off. Of course, I have a story here in just a second that talks about one of their jets. In fact, I'll pull that up next. Marysville, what's going on? Lots of locals. Man, I just keep seeing locals. Larazzo plus the lobbyists. See, that's why I can't wait to have the groups. We got to meet in person. Been watching on YouTube, missing out on the goods. Sherry Norton. Grego 2, what's going on? Ohio friends close to Lima, Ohio. Awesome. China couldn't even take the China-Indian border. Well, I guess you could say that about India, too. North Carolina, let's link up. What is going on? Jay Long says North Carolina as well. Forces calling guys, uncovering the truth. Thanks, Doc. Tony Sarna, how yous guys doing? With a very East Coast sentence there. Welcome at Sherry Norton. I love that you guys welcome the new folks. If you see a new name, let's see here. Somebody said YouTube admin in the chat. YouTube admin is actually a Foogle fam, but Google moderators have actually been in our chat as well. And I don't know if that's something new that they've been modding our larger chat, but a couple of people were actually had their stuff moderated. So I think people can understand. We're just trying to follow the rules here and trying to make sure that we make everything official over here. So. And it's getting crazier, that's for sure. Check this out. China's first stealth jet looks an awful lot like the U.S.'s first stealth fighter. Here's how the J-20 and the F-22 stack up. Look at this thing. So a lot of people actually predicted this. Most of the people in my chat, even when we first covered some of this, that they stole or they supposedly stole the technology, which pretty much they confirmed that. That their jets would be way behind. One thing I would say about this is if they make 10 of their behind jets, which I think they did steal some of the current technology, according to mainstream media at least, that means even if they make 10 of their poorly put together stuff with our technology, if they have the numbers and they have 10 to 1, who's going to win? That's the thing. I think that they are betting on sheer numbers to have military strength. And that's what they started doing. They even said it in a public forum about 3 years ago. Global Times says we're going to beat them with numbers. And that's exactly what ended up happening. It says aside from China's aircraft carrier and ballistic missile programs, no weapon system has captured as much attention as the J-20 Mighty Dragon. China's first stealth fighter. Isn't that crazy to think? And this is why people think they're so behind. This is their first stealth fighter. But guess what they're going to do? Now that they have a stealth fighter, they're going to make a crap load of them, and they're going to mass produce them. They are production kings. As far as they are they can turn anything they want. They run their country to where they can turn an underwear factory into making jets. That's they have unrelentless power to do so. That is why the president has made it such a big deal to look at this. So that's why I say that a lot of things could possibly change in the next couple months. It says the aircraft is the world's third operational fifth-generation stealth fighter, the only one in official service that wasn't designed by the U.S. or its allies. 2 J-20s were seen at a Chinese airbase near the Indian border after tensions between the two countries spiked. Rumors of a twin-seat variant under development have spread on social media, and last month, 2 J-20s were shown conducting a fighter drill in footage released by the Chinese state media. Now, I wonder if that was actually the video where they had the top down. People were laughing at that because, or maybe that was Russia. Dex, was that Russia where they had the top down? Do you remember that? They actually.
No, actually, I don't.
Okay, no, it was. Now that I think of it, it was totally Russia. I'm pretty sure Russia. They were so savage. They were in a jet like this, and they had the top down flying, and that's like unheard of. But they did it. It made one of those
it's Popular Mechanics. I see it now.
Yep, that's just nuts. Even at their slowest speed, that's just crazy. Look at these things, though. Do you think that these things are so far behind? If it's using the same technology, the same materials, the same blueprints, if they got the exact same thing, I think the thought that they can't make a jet exactly like us, this isn't like a knockoff company. They're going to put the money into the same materials, same everything. If they have our blueprints, they're going to do it exactly like us. It's not like we have a secret chef that, puts a little thing on it that you just can't replicate. If they got the exact plans for something, which they can tweak something physically to make it look different, but on the inside have all the same stuff. They say that they got in and they took plans that they were never supposed to have. But look at this, though. Isn't this weird looking? This is completely this is different. They look like they patched it together, though. That's what's really weird about this. You look at the outside, it looks like different metal was handmade or something. And maybe that's why they did that, to make it physically look different. So they couldn't say that it was something. I don't know. That's weird. Look at those cockpits, though. If this is a real picture, that looks insane. I'm sure it's like a big sunglass. UV filters, crazy curved glass. Gosh. Jets like this is why people were afraid of the U.S. And then China warns Intel alliance. Their eyes will be plucked out if not careful with the HK affairs. So this is another big thing that people have been talking about over on Twitter the last 3 days. It says the Five Eyes alliance established after WW2 involves the US, UK, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. Its main objective is the sharing of intelligence information between parties. It says that striking back at remarks made recently by the Five Eyes Intel Alliance over events taking place in HK in Hong Kong. It says a Chinese foreign ministry spokesman told the reporters on Thursday that the five nations should be careful or their eyes will be plucked out. The Five Eyes. So they're talking about US, UK, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. It says the Chinese never make trouble and are never afraid of anything. Zhao, speaking from Beijing, adding, it does not matter if they have had 5 or 10 eyes. Zhao's remarks comes in response to the alliance's Wednesday rebuke of the dismissal of 4 pro-democracy lawmakers from Hong Kong legislature that oversaw a dozen pro-democracy officials resign in protest from the body. The 4 individuals were expelled as a result of a new law issued by Beijing stating that Hong Kong must now be governed by patriots. The Guardian reported that the measure also barred any individual from serving in the legislature if they refused to recognize their sovereignty over Hong Kong. It says sought assistance from countries to intervene in the region's affairs or undertook any action that would, according to Beijing, appear to harm the semi-autonomous region's national security. What do you think about that story, Dex? Do you think that there's something crazy there?
Oh, it's a great play on words, for sure.
Well, and basically it's more kind of puffing their chest and saying we're going to take, they're threatening those 5 countries.
Right, exactly, they are. And it's clear that the threat is pretty serious, because when you take the play on words and you look at the other play, it's kind of a serious effect. So you want to, they're not making a joke.
No, and they've said many things like it in the past. This has gone up and up and up. People aren't going to believe you. A lot of a lot of you agree with me that we believe that at some point we have to have something with them. Otherwise, there's got to be huge changes, and those changes might be happening in just a couple months. Who knows? You might not like those changes either. I feel like we're turning into a different country in a lot of ways. What do you guys think, though? If you guys want to block yourself from any government, any of the Five Eyes data logging you, I would highly recommend getting a Nord virtual private network. Again, this actually helps the channel. On top of that, not only do you not pay more, you pay a lot less. You can get up to 70% off on a 3-year plan, and we can get a small commission from it. So it's about the best deal you can get anywhere, and you'll help the channel on top of that. You can go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Thank you guys for doing that in advance. All right, let's go over back to the chat real quick. Lots of things are changing right now with the internet, as you guys know. I'm going to be putting out a statement here relatively soon via email. I'm going to probably put out a video that will deliver you there regarding what is actually going on right now. I know that a lot of you have noticed it. Spitting at Mussolini says probably a combo of many nations tech. I don't know if you're talking about that jet, but it looks like a Pinto that had 5 different car parts to it. A Yakstar, Marfoogle News, only news I use, Las Vegas, Nevada. A Yakstar, thank you so much for being here by the way, I see so many names, and then I start seeing them more and more, and then I don't see them go away. I can't say thank you enough, and I so appreciate where we're at right now. I don't care if we go up in numbers. People always talk about numbers and this and that. I know that each subscriber is a person. What makes me angry is that, say there's 200 new ones, 200 people are then also getting removed. So that means that we don't show up and we don't reach those 200 people. That's what really gets me. I see a lot of smaller channels saying, oh, this subs. They're not subs. Those are all people. Each individual person is, each account is a person, and I think that that's so insane. We reach over 100,000, and with both channels, over 300,000. So that really kills me to know that slowly, when people are sleeping, it's just getting taken off. So please, if you can, do your part. Please be a part of the Foogle fam. Share it out. And share outside wherever you go on the internet. Go share our stuff, please. It doesn't take anything. It doesn't cost anything. And it helps us. Let's see here. Gonna go over and Yaxstar, thank you. KCH3, the truth is out there. Groovy Grandma, love you boys. Pray up and pray up. Shout out to Susan Donahue. Thank you so much for being with us. Let's see here. Permanent shout out to you. If you're watching the replay, you may not have made tonight's show, but I always do anyways. Ty Palomino, first live I've caught in almost a month because of work. I'm sorry, Ty, but I thank you. And I right away, when I see Palomino, I think of you and an awesome car. Marky Sparky, leave your number, leave your thumbs here, please. Thank you, Marky Sparky. I never tell people to do thumbs up, but it does help. It basically keeps us floating. Eliza Nunez says, thank you, Adam and Dex. Thank you as well. Seriously, I appreciate you guys. Gen X Voice says, been with you since video number 1. Love Foogle fam in OK. Gen X, I want to say you changed your name a little bit, but I believe you were like in the very first people, so thank you. Christian Moore, C-I-N-A, and Venezuela equals CV. Just saying. Coincidence? Not. Homesteading in the Heartland. The software was switching. See, we can't even talk about that here. Otherwise, we won't have a platform to go and talk about. So that's why I'm going to be making an announcement. So pretty cool. This is why Esper was moved, let go, accommodate the investigation. Alex G, Retta, Rex Orbis. I'll tell you, you guys are going to find out some crazy stuff here. Close ties between them and Venezuela, even the system. Yep, know about that. You guys are just going to, there's big stuff coming around the corners. I hope people understand that. And if we're not around tomorrow, just know you need to get ready. Medic 13 behind the headlines. Dude, we've been here for 3 years. We're not going anywhere. Seriously, that's huge. Thank you guys. You know, one thing though, Nathaniel Drew, welcome to the Foogle fam. One thing that I see is that there's probably 30 people that had huge followings, and people say, oh, why aren't you saying this and why aren't you saying that? Who's standing up for those people now that they've been basically off of everything? I mean, they can't even email. Who's standing up for those people? As sad as it is, like, you know, people like, I know most of my people are genuinely, like, you guys, especially I know because you send me mail, hand-wrote letters. You actually care about myself and my family. But one thing I think of is the second that I'm no longer in the feed, just from going off of experience with others, you're just gone. So they say, oh, say this and say that. But then when we're not here anymore, nobody's saying anything. In my personal opinion, people should be writing their senators in Congress and doing things like that, like I have been doing, like Dex has been doing. So if you see a wrong, be the one. Nobody else is going to do it. And you have to assume that. People should not have everything taken away from them, including their businesses, for not falling in line. Just my opinion. The Kremlin denies Putin has health problems after coughing fit. Sounds a lot like when in 2016 when what's-her-face had all those weird, they looked like this. But apparently Vladimir Putin, people are saying, is sick, and it says he has a coughing fit during a televised conference, forcing Kremlin to deny he has health problems while editing the footage, supposedly. It says that the Kremlin was forced to deny that Vlad had health problems on Wednesday after he suffered a coughing fit during a televised meeting. The president, who is 68, mind you, struggled to finish his sentence while speaking to top officials about acute financial problems caused by this event. It says the video was later edited so that his coughing fit seemed less severe in a version posted by his office. State news agency TASS asked the Kremlin about Putin's health, and he was told he is absolutely normal. The president apologized and continued the meeting almost without pausing, the agency said. So this is, I believe this is what...
Ситуация как была острой, так и остается. А острые, извините, острые текущие финансовые проблемы есть.
Okay, first off, that is that sounds like if you drank water down the wrong hole. That wasn't even coughing, that was clearing his throat. I guess for me, that's not enough to say, oh, you know, he's so weak he can't run the country, or he's got something. That did not, unless that's the edited version, that does not seem like that's that bad at all. That was 15 seconds. I guess, you know, if that was anybody doing that. I did that yesterday when I choked on Coca-Cola. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that he's dying because of that? That seriously was like really underrated. That's not even news. That's like, oh, he drank some water down the wrong tube. Look at this. This is how Russia looks official. They just put 3 phones. They're like, oh, there's only 3 phones. Bring one more with computer screen. It looks official. And we don't have enough desk. Put a T desk. Add more desks. Wait, no. Put more desks. Okay, move another desk over here. We need 5 desks. It's the president, for God's sake. This is crazy. I wonder if any of these... Is this his, like, Oval Office? Because it's kind of ugly. This is his box office. Ah, like the movies. Sorry, that was a bad dad joke. Tiny owl found inside Rockefeller Christmas tree after 3 days with no food or water. Wait a second. It says a tiny owl is recovering after it was found tucked away in the branches of the Rockefeller Center's Christmas tree in New York City. Dex, it is so big that an owl got lost in it. That must be a pretty damn giant tree.
Well, yeah, the trees. Have you seen the tree?
Well, I mean, not in person, but I've seen.
Yeah, well,
movies.
there's a little bit of controversy over it because it looked like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree when they set it up, and then some people were saying, well, the branches were tied up, but actually, I think it got damaged. So this is like the good story coming out of the tree, because the tree itself was kind of getting a bad rap online. So, but yeah, that's a huge tree. It's a very big tree.
I think it's crazy that Charlie Brown is not going to be on any TV. Christmas Carol, I believe, didn't that get cancel cultured like a year ago or something? Didn't that get canceled too? Yeah, that was canceled because of sexism or something. Or what other Christmas films? Oh my gosh, and then last year for Christmas, It's Cold Outside. That song, isn't that canceled? Like, they don't play that anymore? What is our radio and our TV going to look like for Christmases now? Like, it's just crazy. So this is the Rockefeller tree. Apparently an owl was saved from it. It's so gigantic. It was lost in there for 3 days, but how did they even find it? That's what I want to know. It says that the Ravensbeard Wildlife Center in Saugeries, New York, said it received a telephone call on Monday morning from a woman who said her husband discovered the owl while working for the company that transports and secures the iconic tree in Rockefeller Center. The 75-foot Norway spruce was cut down last week in Oneonta, New York, and loaded onto a massive trailer before embarking on a 170-mile road trip to Manhattan. Along with its feathered stowaway, the couple had thought the owl, now named Rockefeller, was a baby due to its petite size, but the Wildlife Center said it is an adult northern saw-whet owl, one of the smallest owl species in North America. It says all baby owls are born in the spring, so the idea that there was a baby owl in November didn't make sense, the Ravensbeard Wildlife Center wrote on a Facebook post. It says Rockefeller was taken to the Ravensbeard Wildlife Center, where a team of wildlife rehabilitators is giving the owl fluids and all of the mice he will eat. It says the Wildlife Center, which aims to rescue, rehabilitate, and release local wildlife back into their natural habitats, said Rockefeller will be released back into the wild once given a clean bill of health by a veterinarian. So it was 3 days since he ate and what, but they actually trapped and transported an owl away from where he lived. I'm surprised they discovered him. Now I'm curious what a saw-whet owl looks like. Now we've got to see what a saw-whet owl looks like. Let's see. Oh, they are tiny. Look at that. That's it on a hand. So it's probably, what, like 5 inches, 6 inches tall? It's so tiny and so cute. And there it's murdering a mouse. Okay, well, not so cute.
Hey, Adam, pull up the tweet I just put in screener.
All right, let's see here. Pulling it up now. All right, let's see here. All right, I've got the link here. Let's see. Bam. Okay, so this is, ladies and gentlemen, the Christmas tree has arrived at Rockefeller Center. Left pick is how it looked when it was cut down. Right pick is how it arrived. So this came from somebody's lawn? Is that what this shows?
I don't know, but there's so many pictures going around right now about how horrible this tree looks when they took it off the truck. Like it must have got damaged in transport. Now I do know that like a lot of it is wrapped up, so it'll still open back up. But yeah, there was a whole lot going around online about this Christmas tree, almost like it was the epitome of 2020.
This is like, dude, that is sad looking. What in the? That's not even the same tree. Maybe they just can't find one closer or something. But also, this looks like it's from some guy's yard. They like drove by and like, yep, that's the New York tree. Just snatched it from Bob down the street. Maybe Bob was like, hey, you took this out of my yard. I'm going to go screw that up. I don't even know. How could they decorate that? I don't know. Looks like they need a replacement. If they say that that's going to be the actual Rockefeller tree, then I don't know. Do you think that that's pretty enough to be the Rockefeller tree there? I don't. All right, let's move on. We are going to be doing a short transition. Again, I'll be telling you guys in just a few minutes. If you're over on DLive, you don't have to do anything. We are now, of course, under some huge pressure over on YouTube to keep it absolutely clean. There are people disappearing left and right for being middle, for even being anything. So we're going to be pulling over. Again, we're still family friendly. Everything is going to be normal. It's just that we don't have to go crazy about filter words and all this kind of stuff. So John Raxness says, about 30 minutes behind the live show. Notification was late. It's more like Elon Musk smokes the dust. John Raxness, please sign up for our push notifications. If I remind you guys every show, you can get our notifications directly from us, or you can follow us on Twitter. I know that they're bad about their notifications, that we sent out our notification, but again, you can do that. Miss Claire, thank you so much for your support. You can always write something with that. And then Medic13, Nathaniel Drew, thank you, and welcome to the Foogle fam. All of you new subscribers, again, don't know how We don't gain a single one, even though we gain people. Just crazy. So thank you. Love y'all. I will see you in about 3.5 minutes over on DLive. Dex, my internet brother, thank you for running it over here. Make sure, go over to website marfooglenews.com. You can actually get through over to the second half. We're going to be taking calls at 224-400-MARF. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf on. Big shout out to Veteran Steve, Pam, aka Gone Girl at 777, Machina Opus, End Times, Amy R, Kelly 2334. Thank you. You are. All right, all right. All right, welcome back, guys.